somebody would've told me, babe, that someday these will be the good old days. All the love you won't forget, and all these reckless nights you won't regret. Someday soon your whole life's gonna change. You'll miss the magic of these good old days.
I was thinking about the band, I was thinking about the fans. We were underground, loading merch in that 12-passenger van, in a small club in Minnesota, and the snow outside of First Ave. I just wanted my name and a star. Now look at where we at, still growing up, still growing up. I would lay in my bed and dream about what I'd become. Couldn't wait to get older, couldn't wait to be some. Now that I'm here, wishing I was still young. Those good old days.
I wish somebody would've told me, babe, that someday these would be the good old days. All the love you won't forget, and all these reckless nights you won't regret. Cause someday soon your whole life's gonna change. You'll miss the magic of the good old days.
Wish I didn't think I had the answers. Wish I didn't drink all of that blast first. Wish I made it to homecoming, got up the courage to ask her. Wish I would've gotten out of my show. Wish I put the bottle back on that shelf. Wish I wouldn't have worried about what other people thought and felt comfortable with myself. Rooftop open, and the stars above. Moment frozen, sneaking out and falling in love. Me, you, and that futon, we just begun. On the grass dreaming, figuring out who I was. Those good old days.
I wish somebody would've told me, babe, that someday these would be the good old days. All the love you won't forget, and all these reckless nights you won't regret. Cause someday soon your whole life's gonna change. You'll miss the magic of the good old days.
Never thought we'd get old. Maybe we're still young. Maybe you always look back and think it was better than it was. Maybe these are the moments. Maybe I've been missing what it's about. Been scared of the future, thinking about the past while missing out on now. We've come so far, I guess I'm proud. And I ain't worried about the wrinkles around my smile. I got some scars, I've been around. I felt some pain, I've seen some things, but I'm here now. Those good old days.
You don't know what you got till it goes, till it's gone. You don't know what you got till it goes, till it's gone. Told me, babe, someday these will be the good old days. All the love you won't forget, and all these reckless nights you won't regret. Someday soon your whole life's gonna change. You'll miss the magic of these good old days. Somebody would've told me, babe, that someday these will be the good old days. All the love you won't forget, and all these reckless nights you won't regret. Someday soon your whole life's gonna change. You'll miss the magic.
Good evening, and welcome to the Fergus Falls Public Schools ALC graduation here this evening. My name is Dean Monkey, principal of the Fergus Falls Secondary Schools, and I know that you're really going to enjoy tonight's commencement. We have some great speeches from our students and staff, and we know that you'll enjoy the musical performance as well. You know, no one could have imagined the end of this 2019-2020 school year just a few months ago. Our seniors here tonight that we honor here have had to give up a lot. And we want to really recognize those sacrifices here this evening. The sacrifices these seniors have made have kept others within our state and community very safe. We are very proud of these graduates and their accomplishments. And we look forward to having you view this program here this evening, because we know that many of these students have had to overcome some struggles throughout all of their years here at high school. And we just want to take a very special opportunity here this evening to honor them. At this time, I'd also like to thank everybody that had an opportunity to put this whole program together. We really appreciate everybody's efforts. Enjoy our evening here together. At this time, I'd like to invite School Board Member Melanie Cole to the podium to give an address for our graduates.
As a representative from the Fergus Falls School Board, I am pleased to be here today to address this graduating class. Students, thank you for the moments of your time, and thank you for making your parents, your community, and yourselves proud. We are all so sick of COVID, right? It is an adversity, and it's a huge one. It's creating so many adjustments. This class of graduates are not strangers to adversity. It's my experience, and it's so often the case, that a student graduating from the Alternative Learning Center has had an above average amount of obstacles to overcome. And here you are, making this a doubly momentous occasion and making you above average. Without the knowledge of your individual journeys, I can say without a doubt that you have pushed and excelled to get here, and you were not defeated. Good work. Sometimes I get tired of the grind and the endless challenges, and I take some wisdom from this quote from Father Alfred de Souza. He states, "For a long time it seemed to me that life was about to begin, real life. But then there was always some obstacle in the way, something to be got through first, some unfinished business, some time to be served, some debt to be paid. Then life would begin. At last, it dawned on me that these obstacles were my life." One's interpretation has everything to do with how you process this quote. It could be defeatist, like, "Oh, it will always be a grind." Or one could say, "I will have challenges. This is life." Then take the practical steps to manage it and keep going. By the fact that you're here today, ALC Graduation Class of 2020, it tells me that you've got this. You've experienced adversity, and you've addressed it, and you keep going. So keep it up, Class of 2020. Congratulations.
At this time, we would like to invite to the podium to share a senior speech here tonight. I'd like to have Micaiah Mosoff please join us at the podium.
So here we are, basically on our last day. I'm here to talk about not only my experience, but the experience of my fellow graduates as well. Does anybody remember their first day at the ALC? Because I do. I was nervous. I was nervous because I didn't know what I was walking into. I've heard many different things about the ALC, but nobody prepared me for this. They didn't prepare me for all the friendships, laughs, and memories. I came from a place, as many of us did. We faced challenges, negative experiences, where we lost hope and never thought we would get to this day. So what made the difference? Maybe it was the smiling faces that we saw when we walked into the school and we knew it was a safe place. I knew Becca and Amy always had my back. They were always there to put a smile on my face, even if I didn't want to. They gave me more things than I deserved, and words cannot express on how thankful I am for everything they've done. They took care of us in more ways than could ever be expected. Or maybe it was the education staff that taught us not only academics, but how to be accountable for ourselves and gave us real life skills. Not only did they help us develop honor and integrity within ourselves, but on how to use skills in order to give back to our communities. I'll tell you a couple stories about my teachers. I could talk about the time that I got my first teacher-directed cool down, or I could tell you the time I went to Map Stars and went to state and won 6th place. But the best memories are the ones to talk about, the ones I did with the whole school. I got to go ziplining and wouldn't have done it unless my friends and teachers were there cheering me on, because I'm afraid of heights. One of the best ways I can define the staff at the ALC, which has done for us, is to read this quote from A.J. Giuliani, which sums it all up. Our job is not to prepare students for something. Our job is to help students prepare themselves for anything. I want to touch base on one of the reasons I'm here today. Without this person taking the chance and allowing me into the school, I would not have become the young woman I am today. Mrs. Toole is a tough woman, but she made me feel appreciated. She encouraged my success and drove me in directions of possibilities I was convinced I couldn't achieve. She may rule with an iron fist, but I know everything she does is done with our best interest at heart. So I gratefully thank you for giving me the opportunity. Having said that, let's talk about the real reason I'm here today. My graduating classmates. Where to begin? There's so much I would love to say to each of you. I'm so happy that I got to know and grow friendships with each and every one of you. I just wanted to say thank you for all the laughs, tears, and memories that I have shared with you. Even though our senior year got cut short, it was the best year of my high school career. I'm so unbelievably proud of all of you. I can't believe how far we've come. I can't wait to see what the future holds for us. I was once told that I wasn't ever going to graduate, but here I am graduating, and I couldn't be more proud to do it with you guys. Congratulations to you guys, we graduated. We are the class of 2020, thank you.
At this time, I would like to invite Mrs. Kristen Toole to the podium to offer some awards to our graduates.
I would like to acknowledge 2020 graduate awards. First of all, we have 2 seniors that were recognized for their GPA, Maya Mahori and Skylar Peter. And then we have some Area Learning Center specific awards. Hunter Arnson, he was on advisory board for 1 year and MAP Stars for 2 years. Evan Bone, advisory board member for 1 year. Jacqueline Borowski, advisory board member for 2 years, MAP Stars for 3 years, and ALC school store manager for 2 years. Brianna Davison, advisory board member for 1 semester. Alex Hastings, advisory board member for 1 semester. Kylie Jurassic, advisory board member for 1 semester. Anna Jones, advisory board member for 2 years. Maya Mahori, advisory board member for 1 year, MAP Stars for 1 year. Kaya Molsoff, advisory board member for 2 years, MAP Stars for 4 years, ALC school store manager for 2 years. Cassidy Odegaard, advisory board member for 1 semester. Kane Simpson, advisory board member, I think it was 2 years actually. Maisie Stone, advisory board member for 1 year. MAP Stars for 2 years. Jared Widness, advisory board member for 1 semester. Misty Youngbird Perkle, advisory board member for 1 semester. And Josh Zielinski, advisory board member for 1 semester.
At this time, we are honored to have some special music here given for this ALC program tonight by Maya Mahori.
You are not hidden. There's never been a moment you were forgotten. You are not hopeless. Though you have been broken, your innocence stolen. I hear you whisper underneath your breath. I hear your restless
I will send out an army to find you in the middle of the darkest night. It's true, I will rescue you. There is no distance that cannot be covered over and over. You're not defenseless. I'll be your shelter and I'll be your armor. I hear your whisper underneath your breath. I hear your SOS, your SOS. I will send out an army to find you in the middle of the darkest night. It's true, I will rescue you. I will never stop marching to reach you in the middle of the hardest fight. It's true, I will rescue you. I hear you whisper underneath your breath. I hear you whisper you have nothing left. I will send out an army to find you in the middle of the darkest night. It's true, I will rescue you. I will never stop marching to reach you in the middle of the hardest fight. It's true, I will rescue you. Oh, I will rescue you.
At this time, I would like to invite Superintendent Jeff Drake to come to the podium for a short message to our graduates.
Graduates, congratulations. I have to confess that I would much rather be sharing a few thoughts with you in person. Life is relational, and it seems unnatural to be celebrating your many accomplishments in this format. I want you to know that I have thought about you a great deal this spring and how different the final months of your senior year have been from what you thought they might be. As the parent of a senior, this marks the last time in my life that I will have a child in the public school system. At various moments, I've experienced sadness over what has been lost, sentimentality over treasured memories, and pride in the person that he's become. This is what I know. Each of you has traveled a different path in arriving at this point in your life. Each of you is unique with special gifts to offer the world. Each of you has influenced the lives of countless people on your journey thus far. If I can leave you with one final thought, it would be a quote from Leo Buscaglia. Too often, we underestimate the power of a touch, a smile, a kind word, a listening ear, an honest compliment, or the smallest act of caring, all of which have the potential to turn a life around. Your journey is just getting started. I will be very interested to find out how you apply your talents. Please remember, no matter where your future endeavors lead you, you will always have a home here. Because through life's celebrations and tribulations, one thing remains true: Otters are always otters. Class of 2020, as a school and community, know that we are extremely proud of you. Congratulations and good luck.
At this time, I'd like to call on our director of the ALC, Mrs. Kristen Toole, to introduce the staff members that will be speaking for each senior graduate here this evening. Mrs. Toole.
Each staff member will now give a brief tribute to each graduate.
Hunter Arnson. I had the pleasure of having Hunter in a couple of classes over the past few years. Hunter is a role model student. He is always polite and respectful of others, a little on the quiet side, but always attentive and listening, as well as giving advice to his peers when needed. Hunter took on leadership roles by joining the advisory board, always willing to help out no matter what the task. He has a willingness to learn, participating in class discussions, and brought his wisdom to the classroom. Your motivation will take you far. Education doesn't stop the day you graduate. It is just the beginning. Follow your dreams. Congratulations, Hunter. Caitlin Berniking. Caitlin, it was a pleasure having you in advisory this class this past year and getting to know you. You are a respectful young lady and willing to go the extra mile with class activities. You stuck to your focus and finished strong. At the end of quarter 3, Caitlin, you had 8 3/4 units in an elective course that she needed to finish in order to be complete with graduation requirements. So it started off with an email. Do I really have to show up for advisory? The answer was yes. She showed up for advisory, Zoom sessions and all, while driving down the road, but she assured me as she showed me her phone, her boyfriend was driving. Every time she popped into class during distant learning, she was busy working on something, generally mechanical. Caitlin, you will go far. You are a hard worker and a motivated individual with a great work ethic. I congratulate you on your accomplishments. I will miss your smile, follow your dreams, and do what makes you happy. Brianna Davison. I had the pleasure of having Brianna in my advisory class. Bree, you are a very polite and respectful young lady, and so quiet. You always come to class on time, found your seat, and ready to listen. It didn't matter what I asked Bree to work on. She was always willing to go that extra mile. However, if I didn't notice right away that she wasn't working on a preferred assignment, meaning one that I thought she should be working on, she would sit quietly, go about her business, maybe reading a novel or another activity, versus working on that junior-senior comp assignment. But when confronted, always complied and finished up strong. Bree, your smile always brightened my day. Graduation is the time to look back proudly on your achievements and to look forward to a future filled with possibilities. Congratulations on your graduation, Bree. Cassidy Odegaard. Cassidy, you've had to travel down a rough road at such a young age. You've had more than your share of loss, heartbreak, and emotional turmoil to last you a lifetime. I want to commend you on continuing to move forward and not giving up, even when you wanted to. And oh yes, there were times you wanted to do just that, throw in the towel and be done. Sometimes there needed to be breaks, and that's okay. Life can be hard, but that is what makes us who we are and who we become. You are a strong-willed individual, and I believe you can do whatever you set your mind to. Believe in yourself as I believe in you. I do have to share one small thing I learned about Cassidy over this past year, is that she never responds to my emails. It doesn't matter how many I send her, except one, which had to do with pizza. But she always reads them. Never fails. I sent an email, and just like that, the next day, she's in school, even when she didn't want to be. Congratulations on this milestone. You should be proud. I know I am proud of you, as your family is too. The world is yours. Follow your dreams and do what makes you happy, and never give up. Keep moving forward. Congratulations. Zach Simon. I had the pleasure of having Zach in several of my classes. You were very quiet and you kept to yourself most of the time. You showed motivation and focus with your academics, finishing up requirements early. You are an individual who is respectful of peers and adults. One thing about Zach is he held a high standard for his education and held his peers accountable. I remember at the start of this year, he made a suggestion/comment to new students coming into the ALC. He said if he could give them one piece of advice, it would be to respect your teachers, as they are just here to help you. If you need something, ask them. They will help you. Zach, your words of wisdom will always be with me. I am proud of you and your perseverance to finish. As one door closes, another shall open. Congratulations. I wish you the best in your endeavors. Maisie Stone. When Maisie first came to the ALC, she was this quiet, shy, and reserved young gal, always polite and very respectful. I had to work really hard at getting her to engage in a conversation that was two ways, meaning not just me speaking and her listening. Over the years, I have witnessed her blossom into a beautiful young lady, inside and out. She stepped out of her comfort zone, trying new things, such as becoming a member of the advisory board, speaking up in class, and sharing ideas. You continue to grow and have gained many skills. An important skill you have achieved is advocating for yourself, like distant learning all the way from Texas. Nice job, Maisie. I do have to share, at times when I had been helping Maisie with her studies, she would say to me, "Oh, but Miss Corby, I can't do this." And my response would always be, "Oh, but Maisie, you can do this." And she did. Believe in yourself as I believe in you. You are truly an amazing individual. Congrats. Best wishes to you in your future.
I'm Dennis Bowman, the math teacher at the ALC, and I'd like to commemorate this event with ALC ABCs for the graduating class of 2020, with special focus on these four graduates. We got Misty Pertol-Youngbird, Jared Widness, Michael Peasley, and Jackie Borowski. A is for ALC, where these graduates found a home away from home. B is for Burlingame and Bowman, the Detroit Lakes natives who have a combined 20 plus years at the Fergus Falls ALC. All four graduates had a lion's share of their high school social studies and math courses from these two teachers. C is for Chatty. Jackie was enrolled in my math class while she was still a KSS student. She was very chatty in class. I had to make an effort not to be too annoyed. Over time, Jackie became one of my best students, completing her high school math requirements with a year to spare. D is for deer hunting. Jared is one of the outdoorsmen in class. I have always enjoyed talking fishing and hunting with Jared. Even his graduation picture displays a very impressive 12-point buck. E is for English classes. Through the combined efforts of Mr. Johnson and Mrs. Fleming, all four of these graduates were able to complete 8 required classes, including the dreaded public speaking. F is for friends. All four graduates have made lasting friendships during their years at the ALC. G is for goals. Mrs. Toole and the ALC instructors continually advise these four graduates to set goals for themselves. Being on our virtual stage today is proof that they have accomplished their primary goal at the ALC. H is for having fun. High school was a lot of work, and you may find that your future job or educational pursuit can also be a lot of work. So enjoy the fun times you have with your friends and cherish the things you may miss next year. I is for I did it. Congratulations, Misty, Jackie, Michael, and Jared. J is for Jackie and Jared, who both represented my advisory this year in the ALC Advisory Board. The advisory board is the ALC version of the student council. K is for kindred spirit. Misty and I are kindred spirits with the challenge of a good Sudoku puzzle. I'm not sure if she was ever able to finish one of my Super Challenger puzzles, so I'm sending her off with a pocket folder containing several dozen of these. L is for Labor Day, which marked the beginning of the senior year. All four graduates were excited to wrap things up this year, and here they are. M is for Misty. I first met Misty when she enrolled in summer school geometry. She was a rock star in my summer school class, where she completed 12 math packets in 3 weeks. Needless to say, she breezed through my classes when she started at the ALC the following school year, wrapping up the required math coursework with a year to spare, just like Jackie. M is also for Michael, who's one of the biggest guys I know. I was saddened that Michael wasn't going to continue on in football when he came to our school district, but I also understood that there are more important things in his agenda. Honestly, when I was that age, I probably wouldn't have played either. N is for news. Take time to watch or listen to the news at least once a week. It's important to be aware of what's going on around you and can have an effect on future decisions like buying a home, traveling, or moving. Socially, you'll appear well-informed because you know what people around you are talking about. O is for opportunity. With high school diplomas in hand, Michael, Jackie, Misty, and Jared will find more doors open to them, whether it's toward post-secondary education or a better job, or both. P is for Pelican Rapids. Michael came to the ALC from Pelican Rapids in the middle of his sophomore year. Although he left several friends behind, Michael became acclimated to the ALC by the beginning of his junior year. Q is for quiet. When Michael first came to the ALC, he kept to himself in my classroom and quietly worked on his math assignments in the middle of the first row of desks without talking to anyone, including me. By his senior year, I admit that I kind of missed that quiet sophomore from time to time. S is for school store. Jackie and Kaya Mosalf were the managers of the ALC school store this year. This was my first year as the school store staff advisor, and Jackie and Kaya made the transition super smooth, almost to the point where it may have looked like I knew exactly what I was doing all year. T is for Texas Hold'em. Michael has been a fixture at the popular 20-minute card game after lunch every Friday in my classroom. In my absence, Michael typically would run the game for me. He was stiff competition at the poker table, and future card games won't be the same without him. U is for uncertainty. The tough thing about finishing high school is that our graduates may not know where they may be in September. All we know is that returning to the ALC will not be part of their plans. V is for vocational wing. Jared attended many classes in the V wing and was involved from time to time when I would bring work that I was unable to complete in my garage. WXYZ is for completing something, in my case, the alphabet. I want to extend my congratulations to all of our graduation seniors for completing high school today. Go out and become productive citizens of our community, state, and country. Godspeed and farewell.
As some of you knew ahead of time, we typically give speeches for students that are in our advisory. For my first speech, I'm going to be talking about someone who isn't in my advisory, Sydney Bauman. I've had Sydney in several classes this year where I've gotten to know her pretty well. So when we realized that Mr. Johnson was going to have more speeches than everyone else, I asked if I could steal Sydney from him to even it out a bit. One of my favorite classes that I teach is REACH, a class that focuses on building strong character and hard work by establishing healthy relationships between myself and my students. REACH is how I got to know Sydney so well. She is caring, a little bit shy, and a lot brighter than she gives herself credit for. Every once in a while, on Fridays during REACH, I would borrow Werewolf from Mr. Johnson, and we would play in my classroom. I'll never forget the ice water in Sydney's veins when she plays that game. Her competitive side would come out in a way that I've never seen in her before. One time, she got the werewolf role, which is what most students covet the most, and I accidentally screwed up passing out the cards by flipping one out and having a misdeal, so I had to collect them all again and shuffle them and redistribute them. The glare from Sydney could have bored holes in the back of my head. But that's what I love about Sydney. She's a fierce competitor, and she's the sweetest thing at the same time. Sydney, I'm proud of you, and I know that you're going to continue to make us proud as you go out into the world. We're going to miss you at the ALC. Congratulations, Sydney. It is a rare and beautiful thing in the ALC when an advisor is able to give a graduation speech for a 4-year advisee. Right now, I am able to do just that for only the second time in my 8 years of teaching at the ALC. And this speech is for Evan Bone. I'll never forget Evan's freshman year. He came in with bright pink hair and a volume that went all the way up to 11, and never below 8. Despite the lack of volume control in the early years, I've always loved having Evan in my class and my advisory. Evan and I have shared a lot of memories together, from playing a rousing game of ultimate spoons to never losing the advisory Olympics. The best memories at the ALC are always made in advisory. Every year we make a banner for our advisory, and we have a new name for our group. Usually, my name is put in it, and every year I tell my students, you don't have to have my name in it. It's your advisory, not just my advisory. And this year, they were throwing out a few different ideas. Nobody really liked any of the ideas that much. And all of a sudden, Evan has this genius idea. And he throws out the best name that I've heard for our advisory in 8 years, the Bearded Motherbird. The reason this is my favorite is simply because it is a nickname that Evan gave me a couple of years ago that no one else really ever knew about or even heard. It was just between me and him, and everyone loved it. They thought it was hilarious for whatever reason, even though they didn't get the context. And Evan and I thought it was the greatest thing ever, and that was enough to break the stalemate in choosing a name for our advisory. Normally, I keep our banners and I hang them up in my classroom for students to see year after year. But this year, however, I want to give our banner to you, Evan. It's a special thing for me to be able to say that I was your advisor for all 4 years of your high school career, and I'm incredibly proud of you and how hard you have worked. The young man that you've grown into is one that I always knew you had in you, even when you didn't believe it. Congratulations on this well-deserved day of celebration. One of the most rewarding parts of my job as an educator is having the privilege to coach football. In 8 years of coaching football for Fergus Falls, I've made a lot of good connections with my players. One of those connections is Alex Hastings. I coached Alex for 3 years before he came to us at the ALC and joined my advisory, which is really unique for me to know a student so well before coming to my classroom. As many people with any experience in the ALC knows, I am mildly competitive when it comes to, well, everything. Alex was a perfect fit in our advisory because he is just as competitive as I am. Last year when we were playing floor hockey for the Advisory Olympics, we were struggling to stay in the game. And Alex, he was our MVP. I don't remember how well he played compared to everyone else or how many goals he scored, but what I do remember is how encouraging and positive he was for our team. He is a natural leader and made my job easier every day. I'm incredibly proud of you, Alex. You never gave up in your dedication to your education and did what had to be done to graduate. You are an inspiration to all of our students, and you're going to be a great ambassador for the ALC. Just remember that both you and your brother will always need to have shoes when you go on a road trip. Congratulations, Alex. Advisory board member, check. MapStars All-Star, check. Awesome musician, check. These are just a few of the many accomplishments of Maya Mahori. These are all things to be proud of for sure, and I am proud of Maya because of them. However, the thing that I am most proud of when it comes to Maya is how much she has grown as an individual in the last year and a half she's been at the ALC. When Maya first came to my advisory, she was shy and withdrawn. I could tell there was a lot going on in her mind, but she wasn't ready to let that side of her out. I think it was several weeks before I first heard her laugh, and her laugh is unmistakable after you hear it, and I think it's great. The moment that I first really connected with her actually was not even during one of my classes. It was when I was subbing for Mr. Kumrau's music class last year. The students were working on piano, and I learned just how musically talented she is. That wasn't the connection, because I have the musical talent of a fishbone, but I wanted to mention it because she is truly gifted. The connection was made at the very end of class when the students were packing up and having a side conversation about the churches they had gone to. Another girl mentioned something about how a church she went to once was really strange to her because people were speaking in tongues. To many people, this can be a disorienting experience the first time. At this point, I piped up and said something about how just because you've never experienced it and it's different doesn't make it strange or lack credibility. Maya then said that she had grown up in a church that believes in speaking in tongues and that it's in the book of Acts. This was the connection that led to shy Maya opening up more about herself and her background. Over the past year, I've gotten to know Maya very well,
And I know that she is a person with a lot of heart, even if she doesn't wear it on her sleeve. I wouldn't consider Maya shy anymore. I would consider her a leader that leads by example and a good friend. So Maya, remember that Jeremiah 29:11 will always be true, and that we at the ALC will always be there for you whenever you need anything. Congratulations, Maya. Most people who graduate from the ALC do it in a normal pace, taking about 7 credits a semester, and finish at about the same time everyone else around the country finishes high school. Some take a little longer, and that's okay. A rare few, like Andy Simon, finish all the necessary requirements for graduation much faster than others. Andy finished an absurd amount of credits in a very efficient manner to get to the point of being ready to graduate a full semester early. That's a very fitting way to explain Andy to people who don't know him well. Efficient. He has a work ethic that blew me away. There was almost never a wasted moment by Andy while he was at the ALC. When it came to social studies classes, Andy always had such a wealth of background knowledge because he is not only efficient, but he loves learning. Andy wasn't in my advisory for long, but during the short time he was there, I learned that Andy's most endearing quality is that he has a knack for making people feel heard and be welcomed. Whenever we were doing an activity that allowed for students to open up or offer opinions, Andy was very good at listening to everyone, especially the quietest voice. That quality is one that I think can take people farther in this world than most others. Andy, don't ever change that about yourself. Keep valuing the voice not often heard, and you will help to break down walls that keep people from connecting. Congratulations on graduating, Andy.
Logan Backman. Have you ever just met somebody and after only a few sentences you think, yeah, they get it? Logan was that person for me. He quickly picked up on and engaged in all the little science jokes, gems, and banter that I sprinkle throughout my classes. I remember being so impressed when he stayed after class to genuinely discuss some science policy with me. Experiencing his curiosity, critical thinking, and analysis of the situation was such a pleasure. I have to tell you now, Logan, that being able to have a serious yet lighthearted conversation is an absolute skill that many people don't have. When used correctly, this can take you far in life. And because of this, you have been a joy to work with in the classroom, and I'm excited to see where life takes you. Go do good things, stay curious, and follow your bliss. Congratulations, Logan, you did it. For those of you that don't know Anna, she's tenacious, focused, caring, thoughtful, and so much more. I've trusted Anna's organizational skills on more than one occasion and have never been let down. Her passion and interest for animals has been so much fun to have in the classroom and has led to many great conversations, usually about horses or my cat Bruce, but I'm sure everybody found him exciting nonetheless. This is the Anna I now know, of course. When I first met Anna, she was more or less polite, and that she would politely let me know that I wasn't going to tell her what to do. Of course, high school is a time of growth, and that's exactly what Anna has done. I'm very excited for Anna to go out into the world and pursue her interests. She has all the tools and grit to travel and figure things out on her own. I wish her well in her future studies in the veterinary sciences and will gladly reply to emails and updates that she will send from the West Coast. Go get them, Indiana. You've got this. Congratulations. Kirsten Zick. Yeah. Oof. I don't know. I think. Right? These are all phrases written on assignments or said on a regular basis by Kiki. I know that doesn't sound great, but I'm just trying to set the stage here. Because Kirsten Zick is the phrase, actions speak louder than words. Her art skills are phenomenal. Her classwork for all the last 4 years has been phenomenal. The level of reflection she has, not only for her own actions, but for her peers' actions as well, phenomenal. I can't tell you the number of times that she wrote or said words of hesitation, then proceeded to knock assignments or social interactions out of the ballpark. I think it's safe to say that Kiki ranks among the top 5 quietest students that I've ever had in the classroom. So you can imagine how thrilled and excited I was to hear her rap and sing in 2 different talent shows. She's also either designed or played a major role in designing every advisory banner for the last 4 years. We couldn't have done it without you, Kiki. It's been absolutely fantastic having you in my advisory for this long, and it kills me not giving you your speech in person. Kirsten, I want you to, without hesitation, trust yourself. Speak your mind and make it happen. You're bright, you're talented, and you have so much ahead of you. Congratulations, Kiki, you did it.
Jamisha. Jamisha, Jamisha, Jamisha. First, you probably have my favorite name of any student that ever has come through the ALC. 2, the first time I saw you, I'm pretty sure you were arguing with somebody. I don't know who it was or what it was about, but you and somebody else, you were just chirping at somebody back and forth in the hallway, and you're all loud and excited and smiley and laughing, and I didn't even know your name, but I said to myself, oh, this is how it's gonna be. And I was thrilled when you were put into my advisory. And I immediately misspelled your name on your pass card. I before E, except in Jamisha. One of the fun things about being a language teacher, a language arts teacher, is that before I do this, well, during the year, students tell me stories. They write for me. They tell me about their fears, their past experiences, their dreams about the future. And every year before I do this, I go back through and I just kind of look. I kind of remind myself of all the things that they were thinking about and talking about in the years past. And while I was doing that for you, I search your name up and everything that's you. And in the middle of these descriptive paragraphs and reading responses, in the middle of essays, there's just a picture of you. A picture of you that you put in there, just doing a selfie in a mirror, just smiling. And it made me so happy to know that at random times, as I'm gonna be working over the next years, I'm gonna be scooting through my files and here and there, and every once in a while, your picture's just gonna pop up. And you're just gonna be sitting there smiling, taking a picture of yourself in a mirror, and I can't tell you how happy that makes me. I think of how much you've accomplished and how much you have gone through to achieve this goal, and I am immensely proud of you, and you have earned it. Kayla, every teacher has one, and you were mine. The student who was joy, who exuded that joy every time they walked into a classroom, who, if they were there, you knew that class was gonna be a good one. And when they weren't, everything didn't quite feel the same. Nobody was talking as much, nobody was smiling as much. You were that student for me. You came in with a legendary class, Betty Bellett, Jen McDermott, Matt Hooper, and now you're back here doing this. You've got guts, and I admire you for it. I remember in class there being a quick confrontation over to the side, and before I could even jump in, you had begun to give a short lecture on why they should be nicer to each other and respect each other's opinions and feelings. And I remember letting it happen and just kind of backing away, because I knew that coming from you, it would have much more impact than it would coming from me. So thank you for that too. Happiness is the most coveted emotion there is. It's why we do everything. It's why we look for love. It's why we want money. It's why we look for objects, so that we can be happy, that we can fill these things that are in us. We do these things to be happy, and you brought joy and happiness into every room that you entered. So please keep doing that. And don't forget to find your own joy as well, because you deserve it. Figure out who or what or where it is, and then hold on to it. because you deserve to have the same joy that you brought to us for so many years. Congratulations. We love you. Hey, Maddie, do you remember that duck? The mallard who marched around the entrance to the school last spring protecting its territory. It had a mate who was probably laying eggs somewhere nearby. He would perch on top of the building and stare down at us. He was standing just inside the front door one day when you and some other students were coming up, and he wouldn't move. He just stood there, quacking, until someone reached for the door. And I can still hear the screams in my memory, the shrill shouts being cut off as the recording finally stopped. It was, to this day, one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life, and I would like to personally thank you for that. Even when you were not in a good mood, you would smile. Even when days were long, you always contributed to that feeling that things would get better. There's always tomorrow. It's almost break time. At least I get paid today. You would sigh, smile, and you would throw out a lovely silver lining, sometimes one that we all needed. I always admired that about you. And whatever you do, don't lose that. Being that person that can help others find a silver lining is a gift that is not to be squandered. You're a joy to have in class, and we will miss you when you're gone. Bye. Kaya, 4 years. 4 years we shared the same classroom, the same hallways, the same crowded vans driving back and forth between the MAP Star events. I watched you walk in as a kid and leave as a full-fledged adult. A capable human being who is not afraid to take risks, to admit when she's wrong, and to defend herself when she knows that she's right. I think about the Como Zoo, the plays that we've seen, Viet Gone and Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, tours of the Capitol building, art museums. I have dozens and dozens of pictures of you at various school events, building marshmallow constructs with toothpicks, playing floor hockey, jumping backwards down the hallway, holding onto a huge piece of paper with your other advisees, holding up plaques and ribbons and competitions that you've won, lifting styrofoam cups with strings and a rubber band, eating meals with your friends in the cafeteria, and on our trips, of our collective and repeated failures with the paper and the pipe cleaner, and trying to make this dang thing fly in the Science Museum wind tunnel that we failed at again and again and again. I have video. Making pies and bowling at Christmas time. Gingerbread houses. Dressing up like leprechauns, kablooey, and visits to the nurse, homecoming parades, candy, dunk tanks, ropes courses, zip lining, giant ladder climbing, apples to apples, career days, class meetings, school meetings, discussion topics, advisory board meetings, walks around Lake Alice. Reading to kindergartners, picking up trash in the parks, school announcements, and hanging out in the office, Buca di Beppo and the Mall of America, and werewolf. Always werewolf. Kaya, I have as many memories of you as I do any other student that has ever come through the ALC. Memories of your energy and your ability to be very funny, very serious, and very silly, all in the span of about 3 seconds. You always made every class that you were in better, and you being responsible and caring, and you genuinely wanted to do the right thing. And you still do. Kaya, you have become an excellent person. And while graduating is fine and good, and getting a diploma is a very useful thing, being an excellent person who wants to do good in the world will be more valuable to you than any ceremony and any piece of paper that we can give you. Do you remember our original advisory? Emma and Jamisha, Damien and Josh and Chris, Ethan and Sydney, they have all graduated and gone. But you are still here because you were the baby. And now you're all grown up, and we are sending you out in the world with the ultimate faith and trust that you are ready. We know you'll prove us right. We love you. Skylar, you are a cool dude and I like you. I like the way you think. I like the way you look at the world. I like reading your stories. I like the perspective you bring to every discussion. I never quite know what you're going to say next, but I can't begin to count the times that I've been impressed with what you say and impressed with the ideas that you communicate. And I've always known that I could trust you. I could always trust you to be decent. I could trust you to consider the opinions and feelings of others. I could trust you to carefully weigh your words before you spoke. And these are traits that are not always easy to come by in the young, much less in adults. So be sure you stay that way. Be courteous and kind and curious, and I promise that you will develop deep and satisfying friendships that will last you years, because finding all of these qualities in one person is rare, and I am happy to know that you will go into the world and make the world a better place for being in it, just like you made our school a better place, and just like you made my classroom a better place, just for being in it. Bye. Sam, repeat after me. I am smart. Say it again. I am smart. My name is Samantha Rooney, and I am smart. I know things. I can give you a full history of the Ouija board, including citations and illustrations. I can write a story that can break your heart. I'm going to visit Japan. I can frame a photo symmetrically with leading lines or using the rule of thirds appropriately. I can write a dozen haikus before most people can even look up the definition. Don't you give up. Find the people you love and stick with them. Forgive them their faults and apologize when you screw up, because you're going to, just like me, just like everyone else. And then forgive yourself, and then keep going. Keep learning and reading and writing every day. Graduating isn't the end of your education. It's just the beginning. It's just the end of you being educated by us. You have to keep studying. You are your own teacher, and now you are your own student. Study yourself. Study art and music, and use them to express who you are, because you are now free to pursue courses of study that you deem worthy of you. But that's the secret of everybody who gets what they want out of life. They never stop learning, and they never think they know everything. Sam, being smart isn't being able to memorize facts or being able to regurgitate information on cue. Being smart is making connections. Being smart is looking at old things in new ways. Being smart is being like Socrates when he said, "All I know is that I know nothing." Being smart is being humble. You're smart, Sam. I said so. Don't you forget it.
Good evening. I'm Steph Fleming, English teacher. I have the privilege of telling you a little bit about Kane Simpson. There were so many things I could have told you about Kane. It was difficult to narrow this down, just to make sure our ceremony didn't last a billion years. Okay, first, I have to say how proud I was when he finished his work with me last semester. It was fantastic seeing him again. He was always so calm and friendly and confident. Everything I had always seen in a kid who could sometimes be grumpy. But heck, I can be grumpy a lot too. Anyway, the thing I keep coming back to that I really want to tell you about is when I first started in the classroom at the ALC after teaching independent study for a few years. One of my first classes during the regular school year was English 10, and Kane was in that class. I had a mix of some students who were quieter and some who spoke up or participated, and Kane was one who always helped the quieter ones. I don't know what it is about kids. Maybe won't ask their teachers questions, but they'll ask their friends. I've bizarrely good hearing sometimes, and I would hear Kane answering their questions. And he was always right. He would always explain things that they didn't understand, that they could ask him, but maybe couldn't ask me, in a way that helped it make sense to them. Or he would say exactly what I would have said if they had asked me. And I loved this so much. Besides it really being helpful to me, it was pretty incredible to see someone with a natural talent for helping others understand things. I think about 2 years after that, when he was in another class of mine, I told Kane that I noticed. I'm not sure I had told him before, maybe I did. But I made sure to tell him again how it always made me so impressed and honestly grateful that he helped his classmates that way. And I don't know what Kane has planned for his adult life. I don't know what path he'll take or what he's hoping to do. But I told him then, I thought he should be a teacher, specifically a social studies teacher. I no longer remember what it was that made me think that subject made the most sense, but that's what I said. I guess I don't want to tell him what he should do. So I won't say again that he should be a teacher. I will say that he could. I still believe it. Maybe someday he will. I bet in some way he already is, with whomever he's working with. Congrats, Kane. Thanks for being my unofficial teaching assistant, and thanks for that bright smile.
Diplomas will now be awarded to the graduates. Please approach as I read your name. Hunter Jaden Arnson. Logan Douglas Backman. Sydney Jean Bauman. Caitlin Ori Bernecking. Evan Matthew Bone. Jacqueline Rose Borowski. Jamisha Lee Teresa Crockett. Brianna Renee Davison. Alexander Michael Ray Hastings. Kayla Sue Grundy. Anna Louise Jones. Madison Nicole Jorgensen. Maya Guillermo Mahori. Micaiah Leanne Molsoff. Cassidy Sophia Odegaard. Michael Lee Scott Peasley. Skylar Grant Peter. Samantha Ray Rooney. Andrew Jeffrey Simon. Zachary Joseph Simon. Kane Kenneth Simpson. Kelsey Faye Smith. Maisie Ashlyn Stone. Jared Lloyd Widness. Misty Sue Youngbird Perkle. Kirsten Lynn Zick.
Could I have the attention of the seniors? For those of you that already walked across the stage and had a chance to move your tassel from the right to the left, it is with great honor that I present to the School Board of District 544, administration and staff, and also to the community of Fergus Falls, the graduated ALC class of 2020. Congratulations.
They're going to better places, but our friends will be gone away. Nothing is as it has been, and I miss your face like hell. And I guess it's just as well, but I miss your face like hell. Oh, 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 oh. You're talking about the way things change. My family lives in a different state. You don't know what to make of this, and we will not relate. So if you don't know what to make of this, we will not relate. Rivers and roads, rivers and roads, rivers till I reach you. Rivers and roads, rivers and roads, rivers till I reach you. Oh, rivers and roads, rivers till I reach you. Oh, rivers and roads, rivers till I reach you. Oh, rivers and roads, rivers till I reach you. Oh, rivers and roads, rivers till I reach you. Oh, rivers and roads, rivers till I reach you. Oh, rivers and roads, rivers till I reach you. Oh, rivers and roads, rivers till I reach you.
I would like to congratulate each graduate for demonstrating the grit to complete their high school education. I encourage you to continue learning, setting goals, getting back up when you're knocked down, and just never, never give up. Each of you has a purpose in this world. Go find it and do it. I would also like to thank all of the support people in each graduate's life. As Winston Churchill stated, success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Thank you to the musicians, music teacher Scott Cumrow and ALC student Maya Mahori. Thank you to Roy Anderson and Jesse Thorsted, who put this virtual ceremony together. Please join the ALC staff at the Circle Drive at the front of Roosevelt Education Center for a processional reception. As you come by, we will hand you your reception surprise. You may also take your grad picture, one of these, home with you. We hope to see you drive by in 15 minutes. Thank you.
Best. You can be the King Kong banging on your chest. You could beat the world, you could beat the war. You can talk to God, go banging on his door. You can throw your hands up, you can beat the clock. You can move a mountain, you can break rocks. You could be a master, don't wait for luck. Dedicate yourself and you gon' find yourself standing in the Hall of Fame. Yeah. And the world's gonna know your name. Yeah. Cause you burn with the brightest flame. Yeah. And the world's gonna know your name. Yeah. And you'll be on the walls of the Hall of Fame. You can go the distance, you can run the mile. You can walk straight through hell with a smile. You could be the hero, you could get the gold. Breaking all the records they thought never could be broke. Yeah, do it for your people, do it for your pride. Are you ever gonna know if you never even try? Do it for your country, do it for your name. Cause there's gonna be a day when you're standing in the Hall of Fame. Yeah. And the world's gonna know your name. Yeah. Cause you burn with the brightest flame. Yeah. And the world's gonna know your name. Yeah. And you'll be on the walls of the Hall of Fame. Be a champion. Be a champion. Be a champion. Be a champion. The walls of the Hall of Fame. Be students, be teachers, be politicians, be preachers. Yeah. Be believers, be leaders, be astronauts, be champions, be truth seekers. Be students, be teachers, be politicians, be preachers. Yeah. Be believers, be leaders, be astronauts, be champions.